Good morning, folks. My name is Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person who committed the crime. Of course, as you stand before me this morning, I presume that you're innocent of these charges. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings unless and until the charges against you can be proven by the State Attorney's Office beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We will set your conditions of pretrial release this morning, that is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've got a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. I now need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. You all solemnly swear affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Outstanding. If you hear your name called, I need you to step forward to the podium. Before we do that, Mr. Serrano, are you ready? You want to go? Yeah. And Joe, you know about this?
I
read the motion.
I was given information about it by conversation, but I do not have a copy of the motion. So I'm relying on what I've been told by defense counsel.
What appears Mr. Jackson got arrested for violation of conditions of pretrial release that may not have in fact been imposed upon him.
Yes, and she has told me, and I assume as an officer of the court she's allowing this, that she's listened to the audio and that this was not addressed by the judge during the weekend.
And I do have a copy of the CD that I obtained if the court wishes to hear it. It was not even addressed at all, as my motion states. Likewise, the paperwork that Judge Hatcher signed doesn't list anything written on it that she advised him or anything.
I looked at page 3 and it wasn't written, and even the sort of generic no victim contact notice wasn't signed.
Yeah,
correct.
I would like to just make sure from this point going forward that it's crystal clear in whatever order you issue that there is now a no contact order to be.
Is he there?
I don't know if they brought him over, but we would like to have him honestly released ROR on this charge, and so we can address the actual charge with the state.
It's State of Florida versus Russell E. Jackson, Jr., 2017 MM 4274. And the charge in this case is
violation of pretrial
release, and there must be a battery tracking.
It was a criminal mischief, actually, okay. Your Honor.
Where is that?
That case number is, I have that one right here as well, 2017 MM 4245 is one of them. That's the criminal mischief, and then the other one is 4274.
Yeah, that's this today. And when's Kim? When's the criminal mischief coming back?
I believe that is set for January 11th at 9 a.m.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Justice, anything else?
There's nothing for the state to have.
Okay. Then I'll do two things. In 4274, I'll grant the motion and release Mr. Jackson on his own recognizance.
Thank you.
That case coming back on January 11th. Mr. Ronald, I don't think you're suggesting there's any reason that I not order no contact at this point on the criminal mischief?
Your Honor, at this point in time, my understanding is the victim hasn't requested it, and in fact, while he was in jail on the charge, for some reason, filed something with the post office to have all her mail changed back to his address where she never lived. Because it came to the house.
Right.
So, I can tell you that with regards to the criminal mischief, I don't think there's an issue why they shouldn't have contact. However, they don't reside together. They did not reside together. The allegation was they got in an argument and he threw her phone and it was damaged.
Okay. I tell you what, I'm going to order the no contact then in the criminal mischief case. Well, on both of them. Until I can hear more. Obviously, if she wanted to reestablish contact. We can do that fairly expeditiously if you let me know. But for now, we'll make the no contact a condition of both of his ROR on 4274 and his criminal mischief case 4245. I'll rely on you to make sure he understands what that means.
I will.
And then we'll see you on the 11th.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you.
And Dave, you were going to have somebody here for a contact issue too, right?
Yes, Judge. It's Charles David Malloy, 2017 MM 4334. And I do want to make some corrections when I spoke with the alleged victim yesterday, Danielle Malloy, who's here in the first row.
Okay.
What she had indicated was that this issue about going through a divorce, she does not know where that came from, and the retrieving the stuff. She said what the argument was about was his use of one of the marital vehicles to go to Walmart or Lowe's, and that she ended up calling 911. Miss Malloy and she's here to testify, but she showed up at my office after doing the intake, and I talked to Mr. Helm, who did the intake. Excuse me. He did the intake for Miss Youngbauer, and he had indicated that they're probably going to be making a PTI offer, and that he had no objections as to the no contact. We're just asking that be transferred from no contact or changed to no violent contact.
Can I hear from Miss Malloy?
Yes.
Come on up.
Why don't you just sit right over there for a minute? And really, I think the big issue is one of their children is having a birthday party this weekend.
Okay. Raise your right hand for me.
Oh,
You're the
sorry.
Happens all the time.
On the right.
I swear to tell truth, whole truth, none but the truth.
Yes, sir.
State your name.
Danielle Malloy.
Miss Malloy, how long have you known Mr. Malloy?
12 years.
All right. And how long has he been something important in your life?
12 years.
Okay. And you want to have contact with him again?
Yes, please.
Are you concerned that he's going to hurt you or harm you in any way?
Never.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you to get you to ask for the contact?
No, sir.
Very good. I'll amend the no contact provision to peaceful contact. Daniel, what that means for you, of course, it's always a crime to touch this young lady any way that she does not want to be touched. It will be a violation of your conditions of pretrial release now to have any contact which cannot be described as peaceful. So that could mean even raising your voice. If we hear about any contact between the two of you that can't be described as peaceful, you could find yourself in jail without bond. Young lady, for you it means you're certainly welcome to have contact with him, whatever contact you want. If anything happens and you think maybe I should call 911, then you should do that. They'll come running just as fast as they ever will, all right? Very good. He must be on for a...
He's on for, I think it's January 3rd arraignment.
For an arraignment already.
And
All right,
we'll continue to leave it there.
very good. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
You guys can have contact now.
Thank you. All right. Jessica Christen. Jessica, what's your date of birth?
9/18/92.
Jessica, I have two charges today. I've got a driving under the influence and a possession of marijuana. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire a private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender,
I'll
please.
point to PD. State, what can you tell me?
I don't show any priority now.
Jessica, I have an address for you on Nittany Road in Weekiwachi. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
Since 2011.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I'm a waitress at Pizza Bell.
Okay. On the DUI, I'm going to set your bond at $500. On the marijuana, I will release you on your own recognizance, so your total bond is $500. I'll have you back in court on the 10th of January. Very important, Jessica, that you go see the public defender when you get out, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
LaMonica Netter. Morning, Miss Netter. What's your date of birth?
22389.
All right. LaMonica, I have a warrant for you out of Shreveport, Louisiana. The choices for you this morning are this. This warrant from Shreveport, you are entitled to have an extradition hearing if you wish. The point of an extradition hearing would be to determine whether you're the right person and whether that warrant out of Louisiana is actually valid. While you were waiting to have that hearing, you'd stay in the jail here in Hernando County. The process can take around 60 days. And like I said, all we're determining is that you're the right person and there actually is a warrant from Shreveport. You can waive your right to that hearing this morning if you wish. If you waive your right to that hearing this morning, then Shreveport will be contacted this morning and told that they have 15 days to come and get you. If they have not picked you up in 15 days, then they would bring you back to see me and I'd find out if they're coming or if they're not coming or what's going on. So your choice today is, would you like to stay where you are and wait for an extradition hearing, or would you like to put Louisiana on the clock right now?
Yeah, I'd like to contact Louisiana.
Okay, so you sign that form in front of you. Folks in Shreveport will be notified immediately this morning that you're ready to go. They've got 15 days to come and get you. If you're still here in 15 days, LaMonica, they're going to bring you back to see me and I'll find out what the problem is and if they're still coming to get you, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Justine Pace. Miss Pace, what's your date of birth?
2/16/88.
Space, this morning I have 2 counts of uttering forged bills. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, do you wish to represent yourself? You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
All public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
Your Honor, I've got 3 recent entries for failure to appear, but I don't have the underlying charge for that. I got a 2011 obtaining controlled substance by fraud, 2010 paraphernalia, and 2010 possession of controlled substance.
She's got a couple open CT cases on my docket.
That's probably the explanation for the failure to appear without related cases.
Right. Those are coming back next week. Justine, have an address for you on Gatewood Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
3 years. I own the house.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No.
Okay. How long have you been in jail right now?
Since day before yesterday.
Okay. All right, I'm going to leave the bonds on these per the schedule, which is $2,000 on each count for a total of 4. These will be back in court on the 9th of January, and of course you still have court with me next week on the 21st on your criminal traffic cases, all right?
All right.
Thank you. Jessica Santiago Weber. And Jessica, what's your date of birth?
9/30/83.
Jessica, I have a warrant for you out of Pasco County. The judge that issued the warrant, apparently it's for a fail to appear, set your bond at $1,013. If you can post that bond, then you can go down to Pasco, find out when they want you in court. If you can't post that bond, then Pasco's going to have 5 days to come and get you. It never takes 5 days with Pasco, but if for some strange reason you were still here 5 days from now, they'd bring you back to see me and I'd find out what the holdup is, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. DeQuista Sermon. Want to miss what's your date of birth?
11/21/85.
And the first thing I have for you is a warrant signed by Judge Merritt. He found probable cause for 1 count of petty theft. And then they have a second warrant signed by Judge Merritt where he found probable cause for a retail grand theft and resisting a merchant. And then finally a warrant signed by Judge Toner where apparently you failed to appear on a battery. As to those charges, DeQuista, there's probable cause all the way around. You want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
A public defender.
Appoint the PD, state what can you tell me?
The bonds are fairly reasonable for her fairly lengthy history. She's got an open 2017 petty theft case out of Sumter. She's got a failure to appear in 2017 out of Pasco. She was recently released from DOC on a grand theft charge that started in 2014. Prior to that, there were multiple additional retail and petty thefts. She got a fleeing to elude in 2014, possession of marijuana. So she went to DOC in 2012 for throwing a deadly missile. Prior to that, a probation violation, another grand theft, battery in 2009, another battery in, well, looks like that was reduced. Criminal mischief, reckless driving, criminal mischief, additional retail theft, uttering, another retail theft. His record starts in 04 and it's pretty continuous up until now.
Okay. And Chris, I have an address for you on Barbara Lane in Dade City. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
For like 15 years.
You have a job these days?
No, sir.
Okay. On the first case, the misdemeanor warrant, I will set the bond at $500. That case is coming back on the 10th of January. On the felony charges, I'll leave the bonds per the warrants, which is $2,000 on the grand theft, $1,000 on the resisting, $8,000 on the FTA. So your total all the way around is $11,500. The felony cases I will send to the 2nd of January because it looks like you've already got a case on the docket there. So if you bond out, make sure that you go see the public defender. If you can't bond out, they're going to come see you about all your cases before your court dates, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Luis Morales. All right, we got driving record. All right, Ms. Morales, what's your date of birth?
August 1971.
All right, Mr. Morales, I have 2 warrants for you, both signed by Judge Rupi. Each is for failing to appear in her court on account of driving on a suspended license. Hang on one second. As to those charges, Luis, you want to represent yourself? You want to hire private counsel? Would you like the public defender?
I would like to actually perhaps explain something real quick. I don't know how is this happening right now. I entered today. I came in bail myself. I came in with this arranged since yesterday in the afternoon from where I live in the Kissimmee area with a company that does bonds. I was advised to come in and turn myself in. Someone brought me in. We had arranged it over the phone right there as I was entering this facility, and I waited and waited and waited until you guys gave me the chance of having a phone call so that I could then call and see what happened. And that never happened. I don't have a PIN. I don't know what's going on. I thought that and by the way, prior to this time, Your Honor, I came in May, and I came in and placed a $2,000 bond at that time, okay, in cash, myself without bail bond. They forfeit, right? That's what they do, because of failure to appear for an issue with a public defender that was aware of giving me court dates, and I live very far from here. We've been trying to deal with this for a long time, but apparently, I every time I come and I place the bond there, but I know what's going on. So, you're best to tell me. I have no clue.
Okay. You know more than I do. I'm just sitting here doing first appearance, and I see that you failed to appear in front of Judge Rupi on the 31st of May on 2 counts of driving on a suspended license. I see your license has been continually suspended since sometime in 2016. So if you want to post bonds on these, you can post the bonds now. If you tried to post them earlier and they didn't let you, that's a jail issue. They don't work for me. I have no idea why that would be.
Okay.
But so all I can tell you right now is I can ask you the question I asked before. Would you like the public defender to represent you? You're going to hire private counsel. You're going to represent yourself.
I'll hire a private counsel, I think.
Right.
Or a public defender if you have it available, perhaps. If it's
I
available,
don't think they were appointed to him.
As I have no way of.
Okay. Mr. Morales, would you like the public defender? Yes or no?
Sure, go ahead.
I'll appoint the public defender. I'm going to leave the bond per Judge Rupi's warrant, which is $2,500 on each case. It's a total of $5,000.
It's been paid.
Okay, you don't have to tell me. I'm not the one you bond out with. Okay, that's the jail. We're separate.
Oh,
completely different branches of government. If you remember your civics courses back.
It's a bit frustrating, Your Honor. That's all. It's a bit frustrating. That's all. I'm
going to have you come back on the 3rd of January. They told you the 10th. I'll have you come back on the 3rd since these started with Judge Rupi, and she might know more about you than I do. If you bond out, then you should go see the public defender right away, because they also can help light a candle instead of curse your darkness, so that you can find out what in the world is going on here. All right?
Thank you.
Very good.
We've got one of the cases, Judge, just only one of them. We were previously appointed, and there was an FTA on that in
You got them both now.
May 31st.
That's these 2 cases. Very good.
But actually...
What are you doing there?
No, but actually.
No, okay.
There's 2 cases. They're both yours. They're coming back on the 3rd.
Yes, sir.
Sean Mayo Harvey. Oh, he was the one out of state. Want to Sean, what's your date of birth?
3/10/90.
All right, Sean, this is a warrant that I signed. You failed to appear in my courtroom on 2 charges. No motor vehicle registration and driving on a suspended license. As to those charges, Sean, you want to represent yourself? You want to have private counsel, or would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State, what's the record like?
I don't
And I have a
Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
I do not have any additional information regarding Mr. Harvey. I don't show any local history.
And Sean, what do you want to tell me?
The address that they sent it to was New Jersey, and my address out here is 7311 Westcott Drive. That's why I didn't get the court paper.
The addresses we use are the ones we get from you originally. So if it's changed, then you have to let us know, because we don't know.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm sorry about that. My guess is you would have also signed for a date, but we won't go into that. So you live in Newport Richey now, right?
Yes.
You have a job these
Port
days?
Richey. Yes.
What do you do?
Cleaner.
Okay. Set your bond at $500 on each count, Sean. That's a total of $1,000. Have you back in court on the 10th of January. Make sure you go see the PD when you get out, all right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Jeffrey Ponke. Well, Jeffrey, what's your date of birth?
7777.
Jeffrey, you're here on a warrant that I signed. You failed to appear in my court on a charge of battery. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point the PD. Stay with you and tell me.
2017 DWSR, refusal to sign a citation, and possession of controlled substance ×2, and a 2001 paraphernalia.
Okay. And Jeffrey, I have an address for you on Timber Lane in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
I have an injunction against that address, so I have no contact with that address,
Okay.
and I can't stay there.
Okay. Where do you live?
I live on Celia Lane, in Brooksville here. I don't have the street
All right.
number.
Are you working these days?
Yes, I am.
What do you do?
Concrete curbing.
Okay. And let's see. Hang on one second. All right, Jeffrey, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. Condition of the bond will be that you continue to have no contact. I assume that was explained to you at some time in the past. Is that right?
Yes, it was.
Okay. I'll have you back in court on this one on the 10th of January. If you get out, make sure you go see the public defender, all right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Daniel Vasquez. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
9/15/57.
Daniel, there's two charges this morning. I've got a stalking and a battery. There's probable cause for both charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
The only piece of history is extremely old. It's a 1982 possession of marijuana case.
Daniel, I have an address for you on Sharon Street in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
25 years.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
Drywall.
All right. And Daniel, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000 on each count. The total is $2,000. Condition of that bond is that you have no contact with Jessica Vargas. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. You don't contact her through any social media. You don't go where she lives. You don't go where she works. You don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine having contact with her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bonds will be revoked and you will be held in jail without bond. It means no contact even if she should change her mind and decide she wants to contact. So if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you need to turn around and run the other way. I'm going to have you back in court on the 10th of January. Very important that you go see the public defender when you get out, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, are you ordering a hold on that case or no?
No, because it's not domestic.
Not domestic.
What date did we set that for?
110. And Shannon Wooden. Morning, Mr. Wood. What's your date of birth?
9/23/74.
Shannon, charges battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Or would you like me to appoint the public defender?
I'm guessing I'm going to hire counsel.
Okay. And state what you tell me.
I'm not from here, sir, so I'm not
Okay.
familiar with your
It's
procedure.
a 2017 DUI charge out of Virginia, for which they apparently have something called unsupervised probation as a sentence.
Okay. That's it?
That's all I showed you on.
And Mr. Wood, I have an address for you in Virginia Beach. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
My whole life.
All right. What brought you to Hernando County?
My father. Visited my father.
He lives here?
He lives right down the road here off 19.
Okay.
Spring Hill.
All right. All right. We're going to set your bond at $500. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Ms. Owen. Did you hear me explain no contact a moment ago?
Yes, sir.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. In addition, I have to hold you to jail today up until 4 o'clock in the afternoon so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. I'm going to have you back in court on the 10th of January. When you speak to an attorney, make sure you tell them about that date, okay?
Okay. Well, as far as me getting back to my home,
Yep.
and how do we drove down here together. I don't know how to get home.
I don't know what to tell you, sir. Obviously you can't have contact with her, so you'll have to find alternate transportation back to Virginia if that's the case. I have to order the no contact order in Florida. It's a requirement, so.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, did you address the counsel?
Yeah.
Oh,
You said private.
Private.
I'm going to hire private.
And we have a Jordan Zimmerman there.
Judge, Mr. Zimmerman is an add-on He just resolved his felony case, apparently for 2 years of probation. This is a paraphernalia charge. My calculations show he has 17 days.
Okay.
Different case
Oh.
number?
Separate 1220.
Okay, because I asked my secretary to check and she didn't.
What's the other case?
It's a resisting without violence that, it looks like in here on 1220.
Okay, what's the case number?
Oh, I'm sorry.
4311. So I've got 3711, which is POP, and 4311, which is resisting. Right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mr. Zimmerman, you understand by entering pleas in these cases, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent. But you want to give up those rights so we can resolve these cases today?
Yes, sir.
In case number 17MM3711, as to the charge that you possess drug paraphernalia, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest.
I'll accept that plea, find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 17 days in the county jail, credit 17 days served, be a fine and court cost of $518, $100 for the public defender's office. In case number 17MM4311, as to the charge you resisted without violence, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest.
I'll accept that plea, find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 17 days in the county jail, credit 17 days served, fine and court cost is $503, $100 for the public defender's office. I won't order the cost of incarceration because I'm sure that happened in felony court. That takes care of the misdemeanors, Jordan. If there's nothing else keeping you in jail, you'll be released today to get going on your felony probation, all right?
Your Honor, on the
Thank you.
Yep.
3711, there's investigative costs of the Brooksville Police Department of $137.50.
50?
Yeah,
137.
137.50.
So ordered. And I'm hoping that's Mr. Wiley.